Who gets issues with gluten and why? We know the incidence of an autoimmune reaction to gluten is really on the rise. It's quadrupled in the last 50 years. And we're trying to figure out why more people who even walk into their gastroenterologist's office and weren't identified with celiac disease say, you know, I went off gluten even though you told me I didn't have a reaction to it, and I feel a lot better. Why is it? And who has these issues? We've been wondering if it's because in the last so many decades that wheat and related grains have been hybridized, and now they contain a lot more gluten. But in research comparing a remote area of Russia called the Karelians to a group of people in Finland, we don't think this is necessarily the case, because in Russia they consume a lot more gluten, but they don't have near the issue. When the researchers were taking a closer look, they saw that these Karelian Russians were in a very rich microbial environment, and they consumed a lot of fermented foods, and they had very healthy intestinal flora, very friendly, robust flora. And we're beginning to think that gut flora has a lot to do with our ability to react healthfully or not to consuming gluten foods. When researchers have taken a look at the gut flora of children who go on to have celiac disease, they have noted that they were shockingly low in a very protective bacteria called Bifidus. When a baby's first born and it goes through the vaginal canal, the mother has a lot of Bifidus, if she has a healthy vaginal canal, that's supposed to seed the baby's GI tract. With cesarean births, those babies born by cesarean births, they're not getting this Bifidus. Mother's milk is supposed to seed a baby with Bifidus, but not all mother's milk is created equally. Healthy, thinner moms have lots of healthy prebiotic sugars and Bifidus, and they help pass that on as a healthy legacy to the child. Heavier women who are not so healthy do not contain the same robust microflora in their breast milk. So it appears that health does start in the gut, even how we react to proteins and grains. And also, we do know that when you consume gliadins and glutenins, you can get an inflammatory response, but what came first, the chicken or the egg? It appears as if you have an inflammatory environment in the gut, then you respond in a heightened, amplified, inflammatory way to these proteins. And we do know that by eating healthy fibers and fruits and vegetables and having great levels of digestive enzymes, you tend to have a less inflammatory environment. So, how we birth, how we breastfeed, the health of the moms when we breastfeed, and the types of food that we eat to keep our microenvironment in the gut all play a role as to whether we have adverse reactions to gluten or not. The first environment is the mom's vaginal canal and her breast, which makes the breast milk. The first environment, of course, is the womb. The next environment is the vaginal vault and the breast milk. And then the next environment is the baby's gut. And we have control over that. In fact, a lot of governments are now recommending that you don't introduce gluten foods once you've stopped breastfeeding. You do it while you're still breastfeeding so the baby gets all those protective factors from the breast milk that will reduce having an adverse reaction to gluten. Knowledge is power. And with all of this information, even though statistically the incidence of gluten adverse reactions are on the rise, you can have a very healthy impact on your children and on their guts and on your own. So I hope that this little video helped you have better guts.